To see people everywhere just wanna be free. Listen, please listen, that's the way it should be. Peace in the valley, people got to be free. You should see what a lovely, lovely world this would be if everyone learned to live together. It seems to me such an easy thing that should be. Why can't you and me learn to love one another? All the world over, so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free. I can't understand it, it's so simple to me. People everywhere just gotta be free. If the man who is down and needs a helping hand, all it takes is you to understand and to pull them through. Seems to me we gotta solve it individually. And I'll do unto you what you do to me. They'll be shouting from the mountain out to the sea. No two ways about it, people have to be free. Ask me my opinion will be it's a natural situation for a man to be free. Just come over me, enough to lift a mountain, make a blind man see. Everybody sing it now, come on, let's go see. Peace in the valley, now we ought to be free.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Edie Crane, filling in for Rev Cheryl this morning as she enjoys some R&R. And thank you for your patience as we continue to work out our little technical challenges. But here we are, and there you are, and welcome into our loving cyberspace. And so let us close our eyes and take a deep breath and settle into this moment. And so in this moment, we breathe and we just release all the cares of the morning and let us be fully present. And as we breathe together, let us set the intention to be the light of the world, to open our hearts and our minds, to be inspired and to be an inspiration to others. In our little corner of the world, we can do great things by setting our intention to be the light of the world and be a loving, loving presence on this planet. And so this day, let us send out ripples of love. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. This week's transformational opportunities are detailed in our community newsletter. Receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. Unity of Fairfax and Unity Spiritual Center of Springfield are hosting a virtual Halloween 5K, 1K, run, walk, roll. Don't know how you roll. On October 31st at 10 a.m. Cost is $25 per person, and $10 for children under 12 for all distances. Register by Thursday, October 22nd. Oops. To make sure your t-shirt arrives in time. For more detail, go to Eventbrite, that's eventbrite.com, and type in Unity Halloween Virtual 5K. Our annual membership meeting is happening on Sunday, November 8 at 12:15 on Zoom. At this meeting, we will discern new board members, approve the budget, and hear updates from the board and Rev Cheryl about all that is unfolding here at Unity of Gaithersburg. See you there. Save the date. Join us for a virtual Thanksgiving gathering on Friday, November 20 at 7 p.m. We'll have more details in next week's newsletter. In the meantime, if you have pictures of Unity of Gaithersburg events or gatherings, or of yourself attending, having fun, send them to admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. We'd like to put together a PowerPoint. This will be a joyous and connecting time of gratitude together. Don't forget our other Zoom happenings during this time of no in-person activities. Experience a midweek spiritual boost as Rev Cheryl leads a Wednesday morning meditation at 9 a.m. Hump Day Happy Hour is each Wednesday afternoon from 5 to 6 p.m. And to join these events, email admin@unityofgaithersburg.org to receive the link, or click Going on the event on our Facebook page. See you soon. And now, center yourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. The focus is consciousness. The affirmation: centered in our consciousness of truth, I know my true nature. The pure essence of being, the I am that is my true spiritual identity, is whole and unchanging. What expands and changes is my awareness of it. Some days I may only see my perceived flaws and mistakes. When I tune in to my true self, I am reminded that my nature is divine love. I am more than my ego. My thoughts, emotions, and persona do not define my essence. I am a spiritual being. I am wholeness. I am infinite life. As I stay centered in this realization, I release the density of the pain body. Each day reveals more of the love, well-being, and wisdom I am. I know and express my divine nature in ever greater ways as I embody and claim this consciousness. From 2 Corinthians 3:18, all of us with unveiled faces are being transformed.
As I close my eyes and the world
And so in this moment, once again, I invite you to take a deep and settling breath. One more deep, deep breath. Allow the breath to calm you, to bring you back to this moment, to this present moment. As we breathe, we feel the chair supporting us. We feel our feet on the earth. We send our energy down to her wherever we are, and we anchor ourselves in her love. And we breathe. In this present moment, all is well. And as we breathe, we open our hearts to our I am. Just repeat to yourself, I am. I am. I am. As the breath goes in and the breath goes out, we say, I am. And we recognize and we remember wholeness. And we say, I am wholeness. I am wholeness. And as we breathe, we remember that we are love. And we say, I am love. And we breathe. And we remember our true nature. We are love. We are wholeness. We are wisdom. We are strength. We are love. And we breathe. We breathe in love. We breathe in strength. We breathe in wholeness. We breathe in wisdom. We breathe in peace. We are peace. For in this present moment, there is peace. There is love. There is wholeness. And let us take our breath and our I am into the silence and just continue to remember I am in the silence. and we breathe. And we affirm that we are. We are. We are connected, heart to heart, breath by breath. We are love. We are peace. And we allow the breath to remind us of this moment to moment. Our wonderful breath can bring us back to center no matter what is swirling around us. We have the gift, the treasure of our breath, our I am, our I am. And so it is, and so it is. Amen.
Through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. All is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well.
Well, blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Well, blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night.
Thanks, guys. Hi, everybody. Okay, here's a little ditty for you. Are there ways for gauging one's spiritual strength? The student asked Sophia. Many, she replied. Tell me one. Find out how often you become disturbed in the course of a single day, Sophia advised. So that sets the tone for our book, Awake, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. We're in the midst of this wonderful book study, and my experience of this book is that it gives us great practical tools for navigating these challenging times. And Tolle describes it this way. Anyone who is one with what he or she does is building the new earth. So the main thrust of this book is self-awareness. Our goal is a shift in the consciousness from egocentric to awakened or self-aware. Eckhart writes, an essential part of the awakening is the recognition of the unawakened you, the ego, as it thinks, speaks, and acts, as well as the recognition of the collectively conditioned mental processes that perpetuate the unawakened state. As I ponder the ideas in this book, what came to me is that we are this infinite, amazing light being that has chosen to inhabit this physical body with all its inherent idiosyncrasies, not the least of which is the sense that we are separate and independent from other life forms. And the example that came to me is something that I have shared before, is we're like the fingers on the hand. We're not separate, but we appear to be separate. We have the sense that we are separate. And we forget our magnificence. The ironic thing is that we can also use the body to help us remember our magnificence. Everything that we encounter has the potential to teach us something if we are aware enough to allow it. The ego is born from this sense of separation. It is the I that gets attached to physical form, sensation, and stuff. The ego creates this erroneous idea that we're identified by the stuff that we have, the roles we play, and the stories that we tell about ourselves. But we also have this enormous brain that can imagine just about anything, including all the bad stuff that can happen, or reflect on the bad stuff that happened in the past. I imagine the ego is like an invisible force field that we create around ourselves. It's reinforced by the negativity we produce within ourselves, and we build it with our limited thoughts, judgments, self-recriminations, and worries, and it creates this negative feedback loop. We also become identified with our stuff. We develop attachments. An exercise that we did in the book study one week is to pick a thing or a situation to which you feel really attached. Now imagine that you lost it or it got broken. What are the feelings that arise? So I invite you just to kind of explore that in your own time. Just explore what would happen and see how you're attached. In chapter 4, Tolle discusses another way that the ego manifests, and that's in the roles that we play in our lives. One of the exercises we've done in the book is to notice the things that you attach your I am to. After you say the words, I am, what comes afterwards? Take a moment and consider the roles that you identify with, and what are the feelings that accompany these roles. Sometimes the role is a function of what we do, teacher, chef, mechanic, etc. Sometimes it's about our relationship in a family, mother, sister, uncle. Sometimes it can be a description, victim, lover, villain, hero, class clown, survivor. Ego energy means we derive a sense of self-worth, or lack thereof, from our roles. And one of the ways that our collective ego has developed is in the class system that's been handed over for centuries. Our collective ego created a stratification according to our roles, and we give some roles more deference than others. Think about how this plays out in your life. Are there people in your life with certain roles to whom you give more deference just because of their title? If you have a certain role that you consider important, do you feel like you deserve more deference? There's a little story that Eckhart tells that illustrates this point. It's called The Monk with the Sweaty Palms. A Zen teacher and monk was to officiate at a funeral of a famous nobleman. As he stood there waiting for the governor of the province and other lords and ladies to arrive, he noticed that the palms of his hands were sweaty. The next day, he called his disciples together and confessed that he was not yet ready to be a true teacher. He explained to them that he still lacked the sameness of bearing before all human beings, whether beggar or king. He was still unable to look through social roles and conceptual identities and see the sameness of being in every human. He then left and became the pupil of another master. He returned to his formal disciples 8 years later, enlightened. Roles are a little like clothes. We put them on, and they make us feel a certain way. Consider the roles that you play, how the roles that you play define you. Consider how you feel when you're in that role. How do you inhabit the role? Does it build you up to be in that role? Does it reinforce a negative self-image you carry? So this is something else you can kind of do in your quiet time, in your meditation time. Just explore the roles that you have in your life. And what kind of structure have you built around yourself with your roles? What are some of the conditioned patterns of behavior you've adopted because of this role? Are you attached to this role? Why? The author also describes the temporary roles we take in relationship to others. Think about it when you go to the store. What role do you take on with the store clerk? What role do you take on when interacting with your doctor or your dentist or some other professional? Just notice that. Eckhart notes, the more identified people are with their respective roles, the more inauthentic their relationships become, because we're relating based on preconceived ideas about how we should relate to others. The ego uses our roles to reinforce our sense of separateness. Roles can create an energetic boundary between us. Have you ever sensed that when you're in a certain role and maybe you can sort of sense the energetic separation? He writes that this begins with our relationship with our parents. He notes, many children harbor hidden anger and resentment toward their parents, and often the cause is the inauthenticity in the relationships. The old adage, children should be seen but not heard, is a sad reminder of this. Being a parent is a vital function. We have to keep our children safe, educate, and nurture them. But we can also remember that they're not subservient to us. We can model loving awareness. I've become keenly aware of this in my role as grandparent. When my granddaughter comes over to our house, my job is to keep her safe, feed her, make sure she gets her nap, etc. But my role is also to be a non-anxious presence. My job is to give her my full attention, to really see her and allow her to explore the world in her own way. It is an honor to be in her presence and watch her grow. Sometimes I need to limit something that she is doing, and I have to allow her process as she expresses the frustration about that. I can't take away her frustration, but I can be a loving presence as she expresses it. I notice that it doesn't take her long to get over it. In my grandparenting role, my job is to be aware of my own self-limiting thoughts and do my best not to project them onto her. For in the formless realm of being, we are equal. We are human beings, not human doings. It is easy to get caught up in the illusion that I am what I do, or I am the role that I play. Yes, we have functions to fulfill. We have services to perform. But above all, we're an expression of life. On our path to awakening, we get to push the cobwebs of illusion aside and really see one another as equal expressions of life. To see past the roles we play, the forms we show up in. An exercise you can try with a friend is just to beam love. Gaze into one another's eyes and just beam love. See their magnificence. You can do this with yourself in the mirror. Can you see yourself without judgment? When you go to the store, practice seeing the store clerk beyond their role. Eckhart gives us some direction on giving up our roles. To do whatever is required of you in any situation without it becoming a role that you identify with is an essential lesson in the art of living that each one of us is here to learn. You become more powerful in whatever you do if the action is performed for its own sake, rather than as a means to protect, enhance, or conform to your role identity. He advises us to give up defining ourselves to ourselves or to others. So practice being a field of conscious presence. Close your eyes for a moment and get still. Take a deep breath and say, I am. Become aware of anything that bubbles up. I am. I am. I am. You are a field of consciousness. Okay. I'm going to briefly touch on the next chapter with a story that Eckhart shares, and it's called The Duck with a Human Mind. When two ducks get in a fight, it never lasts long. They soon separate and fly off in opposite directions. Each duck then flaps its wings vigorously several times. This releases the surplus energy that built up in him during the flight. After they flap their wings, they fly on peacefully as if nothing ever happened. Now, if the duck had a human mind, the scene would go very differently. The duck may fly away peacefully for a moment, but he would not put the fight behind him. He would keep the fight alive in his mind by thinking and story making. The duck's story would probably go something like this. I can't believe what he just did. He came within 5 inches of me. He has no consideration for my private space. He thinks he owns this pond. I'll never trust him again. I know he's already plotting something else to annoy me with, but I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to teach him a lesson he'll never forget. And in this way, the duck's mind spins its tail, still thinking and talking about it days, months, even years later. He may never see his adversary again, but that doesn't matter. The single incident has left its impression and now has a life of its own deep in the duck's mind. As far as his body is concerned, the fight is still continuing, and the energy his body generates in response to the imaginary fight is emotion, which in turn generates more thinking. This becomes the emotional thinking of the ego. The emotions feed the story feeds the emotion. Endlessly, the duck chooses to recognize, unless the duck chooses to recognize that the fight is over, unless he drops the story, he will suffer from the endless cycle of his mind's creation. You can see how painful and troublesome the duck's life would become if he had a human mind. But this is how most of us live all the time. For the average person, no situation or event is ever really over and done with. The mind and the mind-made story keep it going. Unlike the duck, we're a species that has the power to remember, which is both wonderful and problematic. And that's an illustration of what he calls the pain body. He writes, because of the human tendency to perpetuate old emotion, almost everyone carries in his or her energy field an accumulation of old emotional pain, which I call the pain body. This energy field of old but still very much alive emotion that lives in almost every human being is the pain body. In the process of awakening, we can begin to pay close attention to the emotions that arise moment to moment. A helpful exercise he gives is to spend some time in the quiet and see if you can notice the background noise in your psyche. What is the river of emotion quietly running in the background? Just get still and just notice. Notice, notice, notice. So this week, you're invited to examine the roles you've taken on and notice how the role informs your thoughts, words, and actions. Practice stepping out of the role when you can and notice what comes up. This work is about observing ourselves and learning from our environment. The outer world is our spiritual classroom, rich with growth opportunities if we allow ourselves to let down our guard. And so let's affirm together. I lovingly release the limiting self-images I've taken on and step into the fullness of my being. I say yes to life. And so it is.
And now, this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. For those of you joining us by YouTube, thank you for going to our website or newsletter to give your gifts online. Here is a prosperity wisdom reminder from the Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox. There is only one way under the sun by which we can attain harmony, health, prosperity, peace of mind. And that is by bringing about a radical and permanent change for the better in our own consciousness. As we each give, we affirm this offering blessing. Divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am so grateful.
I'm gonna open my heart to the world this morning. See if I can help a friend. I'm gonna pull back the shades of my fear this morning and let the light of the world come in. Ever how much I'm down, I'm gonna go to another round. Try to bring somebody happiness. As I look about me, I can see all the blessings given to me. A little baby boy, a woman who loves me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna open up my heart this morning and see if I can help a friend. I'm gonna give all my heart, make a new start in the world. See if I can help a friend.
Isn't that awesome? So I invite us to just imagine that we're standing in a circle and just feel your energetic hands holding as we envelop this community and sing our closing songs.
Meant to be with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let this be the moment now. With my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen, 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 amen,
Have a wonderful, joy-filled week. And remember that you are not your role, that everything we can learn from, and that you are an amazing being of light. And so it is. Have a great week. Amen.
Shouting from the mountains and out to the sea. No two ways about it, people have to be free. I ask me my opinion will be it's a natural situation for a man to be free. Oh, what a feeling just came over me. Enough to save the mountain, make a blind man see. Everybody sing it now, come on, let's go see. Peace in the valley now.